Okay, so it's time for a summary of the week and a little analysis of how I see the market right now. So this is the Bitcoin chart from the beginning of January, or from the beginning of this uptrend in middle December, or the 20th of December. So it seemed like that 618 level on the Fibonacci retracement was what stopped the drop the past 2 days. For some people it was carnage. I didn't really think that it will actually break this trend line that has been such good support for us. But there's a lot of reasons for this big drop in the market. Although there was still a lot of buying power by big institutions, it seemed like there was a bit of manipulation in the market. And some, I think, on BitMEX research posted that there was a double payment on the Bitcoin blockchain, which was just a rumor, and it proved that it was false. And that also caused quite a drop in the Bitcoin price, which was actually uncalled for and unnecessary. It's quite interesting when you get into all the news sites and you figure out who owns what. But that beard, we need to negotiate all these influences on the market. There was quite a serious drop, but what was quite interesting, if I zoom in here, is how these levels, these resistance blocks that I've got here, really played out and did their part. So when it started dropping, you can see the top of that resistance block was support, and then it went up to those. Those are weaker resistance support levels. Then it came down, and this block turned into a bit of support, but then eventually it broke through. It came back to retest that, went through, got stopped here a little bit, broke through all these levels, got stopped there up to that block, just paused a little bit there, and then this 618 level stopped. And on the way back as well, you can see there was some halt, there was some resistance, and then yeah, we're hovering on this block now. The interesting one is Ethereum. So I'm just gonna, as a very short video, this is from January when Ethereum's run started, up to the top there, and we didn't quite retest the 618 level as Bitcoin did. This was quite a big support level, this thick yellow line, but going into these boxes, that resistance box tended to, at first, if I zoom in there, it came down and retested it, or tested it, came up to that box again, so it sort of ping-ponged between the boxes, and then it ended up that this resistance box, the bottom of this one, stopped it. Just zooming out a little bit, so it's not a very long time span, it's about 3 days, 3 days. This little probably a wedge or a channel rather started forming. I didn't figure this out myself. I saw this from someone I followed. He showed it to me last night. I actually missed it. So, well, it went down much further than what he thought as well. But look how beautifully it came back and retested this bottom trend line. So this trend line is definitely has got 1, 2, 3, and now 4 and 5 touch points. The top is not as significant because those are so close together. They count just as 1, 2 touch points. So it's just can I say formed the top trend line, but you need a third touch point to confirm it. And then on the retest, I saw the retest just a little bit late. It was already up there somewhere, so I couldn't really get in there. And then I didn't want to get in. Let me just go to the 15-minute chart so that shows it a bit better. So I didn't want to get into it when it was halfway up because I wasn't sure if it was going to come back down. So I decided I'll check, or I'll get in when it gets to that. And when it retests the bottom of this resistance block, I just want to make sure where that was. No, I wasn't there. And then I wasn't sure if it was going to go through. So when it retested this block, I opened a little position there. Let's just check that. Yes. And then it went up to there, and then I kept on pushing my stop loss up. So I put my stop loss just when after it. I'll zoom in a bit. So I saw that when that formation and it turned up again, I decided that was it formed a bit of a directional change there. So I put my stop loss there just underneath that wick down. And then I went to the shops to buy something, and it wicked down and it stopped me out, but it stopped me out in 16% profit. So it was a small trade, and it was just good. It could have gone up to 60%, but like I always say, you win some, you lose some, and you miss some. And I just couldn't afford to lose a trade, so I decided to really make my stop loss very tight. But just, I think this is really to prove, look how well these resistance blocks and lines have worked out. Everywhere it stops and it hovers and it sort of resistance, and then it breaks through, comes down. Look at all those retests. It spends so much time. This is a very, very significant line, and that block also stopped it. So that I pull these blocks back to from to the beginning of or the end of 2017, beginning of 2018. And they really worked out quite well. Look at this resistance line. I also found we've been bouncing off this now for quite a few candles. So interesting times. I can't really predict where the market's going. I'll see if it goes. I won't trade this again. I will want to see what happens when it gets to the top of that trend line, or when it touches that trend line. There might be an opportunity to short it, but I don't really like to short um, uh, this market, or while it's still in a bullish trend, because if you zoom right out, we haven't really, it hasn't really become a bear market yet. It's still bullish, in my opinion. So that's it. Enjoy the weekend. Hopefully, we have some action over the weekend. All right. Cheers.